Well, the Biden administration hopes that increasing manufacturing will help to ease inflation.
That's right. Fingers crossed for them, right? The White House announced dozens of new measures on Monday. They include creating a Council on Supply Chain Resilience, as well as invoking the Defense Production Act to promote manufacturing medicines.
Our supply chains are stronger than ever, with backlogs, bottlenecks, and shipping rates at a 25-year low. But we know the prices are still too high for too many things.
Courtenay Brown joins us here in Studio 57. She's an economics reporter for Axios and covered this and more in her recent article. So good to have you with us, Courtenay. Talk to us about the role that the supply chain plays in inflation, and specifically trying to increase supply by increasing manufacturing.
Well, the supply chain is one of those things that if you're talking about it, it's usually not good. It's sort of one of those things that's supposed to operate in the background and no one's supposed to be worried about it. Obviously, the pandemic changed that because the supply chains broke. Now we're a few years out and supply chains have healed themselves, but the Biden administration, as well as other governments around the world, are looking to make them more resilient. They don't want what happened in 2020 to happen again. They want to make sure that there is enough supply to keep up with demand. The reason why we have inflation, well, one reason why we have inflation the way we did is because there was way too much demand for too little supply. But if you increase the supply, you can have as much demand as you want. As long as there's supply able to meet it, you shouldn't have an inflation problem.
There is some skepticism, though, of this Biden administration plan. I mean, as you've just mentioned, the pandemic scrambled the board for us, and now we know that it could happen again. So how are these measures specifically designed to boost manufacturing and keep them en route to their destination in a timely manner?
I think it's more of what we've seen the Biden administration do in the past, really try to encourage domestic manufacturing, nearshoring, if you will, instead of depending on global partners for a slew of goods. Let's just make them here at home. So if something happens with the trade aspect, we're not out of luck the way we were with the pandemic. And so I think just trying to make sure supply chains are resilient as more of a preventative measure instead of a reactive measure is what you're going to see governments doing. But there is this big question in circles that I'm in among economists that we're entering this volatile era. We're entering an era where there's more geopolitical conflict. We might see more issues like Russia invading Ukraine. We have the Israel-Hamas war. And, climate change, all of these factors colliding that might make supply chains less resilient than in decades past.
Well, you can see then why the idea of nearshoring would help with that. But even during the pandemic, part of the problem was manufacturing, but also part of it was distribution. And we saw problems not only at the ports, but we also saw them on the roads, on the rails. How is any of this going to be able to solve those aspects of the problem, or are those supply chain bottlenecks behind us now?
Well, the irony is all of those issues that you're discussing were actually due to another shortage, a labor shortage, and that's a problem that we still have, though it's much less of a tight labor market than we had in years past. But you need to have the people to move these goods, and if you don't have the people to move these goods, then you're kind of just back where you started. So one of the great ironies of the pandemic is that in order to solve the supply shortage, you had to increase the supply of workers, which in of itself there was a shortage of.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's so many different levers, and pushing just one of them has an influence, but it doesn't solve the entirety of the problem. Courtenay Brown, thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you, Courtenay. Thanks for being here.